Okay, in this part, we're just gonna go over your homework number 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay. Number one, the detective said, "I can see why she decided to become a prostitute. Just look at her life. She had such a horrible childhood." Now, the detective's statement is not scientifically valid because, well, it's not testable. Okay, so the answer is C. Now, two, the weatherman said tomorrow's weather is a good one. The highs will be as high as in the hundreds and low will be as low as the teens. Okay, so the weatherman's statement is not scientifically valid because, well, because it is an ambiguous, vague statement. I mean, anybody can make a statement like that. It's not very precise. Okay. Number three, show me the evidence is most likely associated with C, skeptical. Okay. Number four, some claim that psychoanalysis is not a science. They attack it by claiming that it lacks certain characteristics of science. For example, they may say that psychoanalytic explanations for a person's behavior often fit with the facts, but are generally made after the fact. According to this view, psychoanalysis is not scientific because is it is not testable. Okay, is A. Number five, some attack psychoanalysis claiming that the effectiveness of psychoanalysis does not appear to have improved over the last 20 years. According to this view, psychoanalysis is not scientific because it is not productive. Okay, so the answer is C. Six, mislabeling and misinterpreting data usually leads to poor construct validity. Okay, the answer is C. Seven, bad sampling techniques usually leads to poor A, external validity. Okay, number eight, a researcher wishes to know whether IQ can be a good predictor of salary. What might be a covariant variable with IQ? So the thing that will be covariant with IQ will be the number of hours worked. Okay. Nine, John and Joe both decided to see whether if a film is funny or not. John showed a film to a group of people and recorded how many times his subject laughed. Jill showed a film to a group of people and had them fill out a questionnaire at the end on how hot they thought the actors and actresses were. Okay, so which study has a better comfortability? Well, definitely the Johns has better comfortability. Okay, number 10. By conducting a field study, a researcher is probably foregoing some of the internal validity in order to gain the external validity. So the answer is D. Okay. 11, by conducting a study in a lab setting which is well controlled, a researcher is probably foregoing some of the blank validity in order to gain a blank validity. All right, so when they're in conducting something in a laboratory and they want more control, so they want to forego some of the external validity in order to gain the internal validity. So that would be B. Okay. Number 12. I am predicting that ingesting coffee does not lead to increased fat loss. This is an example of null hypothesis. Okay. Number 13. What type of problems in research is double blinding technique is trying to eliminate? Double blinding technique is trying to eliminate two things. They're trying to eliminate demand characteristics and experimental effect. So B and D are both correct. Okay. 14. One study suggests that cigarette smoking will. Okay, so this is something that we said before. This is just a repeat for like another. I think in the previous homework. So the thing that is the mediating variable here is the increased blood pressure. Okay. Number 15, in a trend analysis of the study, you see two turns of direction. All right, so you can make a safe consumption that there is at least 4 levels of the independent variable in the study. So the answer is C. If you see a U-shaped functional relationship in the independent variable, dependent variable plot, this is a quadratic relationship. So the answer is B. Okay, now homework number 4, behavior influenced by presence of an observer may not be representative of behavior when the observer is not present is also known as reactivity. So it's C. Okay. Number 2, when participants stretch the truth in their answers in order to make them look better is known as social desirability. Okay, so it's B. Number 3, when participants realize the real purpose of the study and therefore change their response or behavior is known as demand characteristics. Okay, number 4, reliability is usually expressed in correlation coefficients, C. Number 5, biases are systematic errors. Okay, so the answer is B. Number 6, demand characteristic and social desirability are both B. These are participant biases. Okay. Number 7, expectancy effect is a form of, well, expectancy effect is a form of experimenter bias. So the answer is C. Number 8, which of the following statement is true? Okay, is it A, it is possible for an instrument to have high validity with low reliability? Okay, this is definitely not true. Okay, B, it is impossible for an instrument to have high reliability but low validity. I think this is the true one. Okay, so but let's see the rest. C, reliability puts a ceiling on validity. This is also true. Okay, so B is not true. Okay, so because it is possible for an instrument to have high reliability but low validity. Okay, so C looks like the true is the true statement. Now let's see if D is also true. Validity and reliability is measuring basically the same thing. It's not. Okay, validity is measuring the veracity of something, and reliability is measuring the precision. Okay, so the correct answer for number 8 is C. Okay, number 9. An instrument with high internal consistency is an indicator of both good reliability and good validity. Okay. Number 10. Reliability is dealing mainly with blank errors while validity is dealing with blank errors. Okay, so reliability is dealing mostly with random errors while validity is dealing with systematic errors. Okay, so the answer is C. Okay, number 5, NYU's admissions committee for new undergrad class has decided to raise the SAT cutoff from score blah blah blah. So they're making the test more decisive. Okay, and with this action, the test is becoming more decisive. Okay, so the answer is A. Now, number 2, if you are an admissions committee member for NYU, the most likely theory you will be able to apply is, so that would be the decision-making theory, B, okay. 3, a new freshman at NYU who ended up by flunking every course was, they ended up flunking every course, right? So they were falsely accepted into the to NYU. Okay, number 4, subjects who did not end up going to NYU, but due to receiving a rejection letter, but ended up going getting a 4.0 in another very competitive university, let's say Columbia, Harvard, they were falsely rejected by NYU. Okay, so B. In number 5, in number 1's example, by raising the SAT cutoff score from 1300 to 1500, the admissions committee is sacrificing blank in order to reduce blank. Okay, so let's take a look at the second one. This is easier. Okay, so they are trying to reduce the false acceptance rate. Okay, so the only thing that goes is A. Okay, so they're sacrificing the correct acceptance rate in order to reduce the false acceptance rate. Okay, number 6, NYU later found out that 2 out of 40 in their new incoming students who originally had 1600, the perfect score on the SAT score had a GPA of 1.99 or less. Okay, so basically that means that their grade point average is less than a C. Okay, So from this information and only in this information, you can infer that the maximum validity of the SAT is somewhere between. So basically, it's going to be 38 divided by 40, and that number is going to be somewhere around 95%. Okay, so the correct answer is D. All right, next one. You were interested in finding out how accurate a newly developed cancer screening machine is. You gather 100 people in the hospital who have been already diagnosed with cancer and gather another 100 healthy, cancer-free people. You then have the subject screened through the new cancer screening machine. Here are the results. Okay, so you get participants group and that the cancer patients and then the healthy subjects and you have the screening results here. The ruling of that, it says you have cancer or you have no cancer. Okay, so now what? So this is a true positive, the 70. The 90 is a true negative. Okay, and false positive, these are the ones that the machine says that you have cancer, but in reality you do not. So that would be 10. Okay, false negative would be the 30. False negative is for the cancer patients that they already have pain, they already have cancer, but the screening results tells them no, you don't have cancer. Okay, so so that will be the false negative. Okay, number 8. What is this instrument sensitivity? Show your work. Okay, so the instrument sensitivity would be about 0.7. Okay, so the way that you show your work is essentially this: 70 divided by 70 plus 30. Well, it really should be like that. Okay, so and that equals 0.7. Okay, and then now, so what is the instrument specificity? So that would be 90 over 90 plus 10 equals 0.9. Okay, what about the positive predictive value? So the positive predictive value would be 70 divided by 70 plus 10, which I think comes to something like 0.875, something like that. Okay, let me just use my calculator to kind of make sure. Okay, 7 divided by 8. Yes, okay. Now, what is the instrument's negative predictive value? So that would be 90 divided by 90 plus 30, which equals 0.75. Okay, so that would be the instrument's negative predictive value. Okay, number 12. True or false? A positive and negative predictive power is strongly influenced by the characteristic population you test on. Yes, this is true. Okay. Number 13. True or false? Sensitivity and specificity is strongly influenced by the characteristic of the population that you test on. This is false. Okay. Sensitivity and specificity do not change unless you change instruments. Okay. Match the terms together. So the correct acceptance is very similar to the true positive, which is very true, very similar to hit. Okay, I'm gonna link them as the same color. Now let's start with an easier one. The correct rejection is very similar to the true negative, which is very similar, well, which is exactly the same as the correct rejection. Just gonna show them in a different color. Okay. Now the false acceptance is very similar to the false positive, which is very similar to the false alarm. Okay. Now, which means that the false rejection is very similar to the false negative, which is very similar to the miss. Okay. Purple. Okay, there you go. That is answers for your homework 3, 4, and 5.